All right. Good morning. Center for Spiritual Living, Palm Deserts, and friends all over the world. It's so great to be back with you. It's another day. It's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock somewhere. Cheers. Drink your water today. Let's see. Welcome. Great to be with you for our Friday installment of Life on Love. I'm Charles Hall. I'm pretty sure you're getting used to my face by now. Every day. Well, it's not true. It's 4 out of 7, right? So we mix it up pretty good. It's been a great week, hasn't it, with the Sensational Six, and it was really great to get to know Gail yesterday a little bit better, Reverend Gail, and of course, an ongoing conversation with Jafon on Tuesday, and Ed. Ed sat with me on Monday. Ed, are you there? Oh, there he is.
Hey, I'm here. How you doing?
Jeff, Ed Harrison coming off the couch. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's nice. We already got some good work in this morning at the center doing some filming.
Nice getting out there before the mowers completely take over the soundscape of the desert.
Right. Isn't it great to be at the center though? I love being there just to be in our home. It feels really nice to be there, and nothing like getting a good sweat going at 7:30 in the morning too. You know, it's nice when it was 97, 98 degrees already to start the morning off.
Well, you know, here's the thing about that. And I thought about it. I was driving away and how you have yet to acclimate to the high temperatures.
Yep.
And it's not uncommon, because when I first came down here, I came down from Canada. I was playing a Canadian golf tour at the time, and you know, an 80 or 90 degree day was like maxed out, right? And all of a sudden it's 110 degrees outside. I cannot stop from perspiring all over my body, you know, face mask, the whole thing.
Yep.
And it just reminded me of that, hey, you'll need a season to get through that. And then this will be like no big deal. Like I was thinking, it's not really hot outside. It's 97, but it's not really hot. So welcome to the desert, Reverend Charles.
Yeah. Thanks, bud. I had that rag. I had 4 towels and they were all soaked. I just couldn't, you know, you're right. It's acclimating, right? You know, and I just want to remind everybody, you can comment in, you can, you know, put comments, questions. I do have a special mystery guest who's going to be joining me here in just a couple minutes, but Jeff and I wanted to get things warmed up. So yeah, any comments, by all means, share them with us. Yeah. I went out and decided, hey, you know, I'm going to see what my body can do. Going out and playing some golf in the afternoon. So I went out a couple weeks ago on a Friday and played in the afternoon, and I only got through 9 holes, you know, because of the heat. It was about 110 out, and I started to have that sensation where I was so hot that I started to feel chilled a little bit. And at that point I thought, this isn't good right now. And I had water, Powerade, you know, I was doing all the fluids, but it just wasn't. So yeah, I'm still acclimating. But what I love is waking up every morning and the sun is shining.
Always.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I'm looking out my window, and out my window, gang, imagine the blue sky with the mountain in the foreground. It is like the perfect. Here, I'm sorry. I have to give a peek. So there's my view. And you know, it's hard not to every day just be grateful for that and know that, hey, I'm just blessed to be here. So sometimes we just take things for granted.
Yep.
Charles, and it's easy to do that. So I just want to say thank you for being here. You know, I know this is a new community and people are getting to know you, but I tell you what, I've had an opportunity to step in and be kind of inside that circle a little bit. And I really am grateful for it. And it's been a lot of fun. And really, I'm so glad you're here. As somebody who's been at the center for now, 13 or 14 years, I guess.
Thanks, pal. Appreciate it. It's not the easiest transition. You know, folks are used to things being a certain way. And I'm really sensitive and aware of that. You know, we get you. Change is difficult for folks. You know, we talked about that with Gail a little bit yesterday. That you know, we like things generally as a habit of humanity. We like our comfort zones and things to be predictable. And we've talked so much, and you'll see on Sunday, I elaborate on this a little bit during the service, but we keep talking about living in unprecedented times, and it makes everything kind of unpredictable. There's so much that's not predictable right now. It keeps us on our toes. It actually heightens our awareness and keeps us more alert as well, though. And then I think we have a tendency then to not take as many things for granted when we can really be on our toes day to day and appreciate what's in front of us. So, oh, go ahead, Jeff. Yep.
I was just going to say, there's a couple of messages here. Adair says, hey, going out early in the morning, it feels pretty good. That's true. Now I know, Reverend Charles, you're kind of a night owl. I'm early. I'm usually, 4:30 in the morning. And I love that. And it came for me for the decades I was in the golf business. We always open up the shop at 5, have to be there by 4:30, that kind of thing. So imagine looking at the San Jacinto Mountains and watching the sunrise come up. It was like a picture that Rembrandt painted every day just for me that I could watch. And it was like seeing it come to life. And we're just special. But here's the other thing. You can look out to the east in the afternoon, what we call the Chocolate Mountains, and see those shadows. So if you're kind of not an early bird, you can see that sunset and just feel like, hey, there is a power greater than us. And it makes sure that every once in a while it slaps us and say, hey, look at what's going on here. There are so many great things, and I'm just blessed to be here. So
amen.
Thank you.
Amen. And I just want to remind everybody that Fridays today it's called Life on Love. It's an opportunity to continue to get to know me. So I certainly welcome your questions and comments and all of that. It makes me think, Jeff, of what Dr. Joe, I keep getting little snippets and tidbits here and there of what Dr. Tom used to say, and things he used to say. Did you ever meet him, by the way? Were you here?
No, he had passed before I came. I think we came in like 2009, and I think he had passed by then. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Dr. Joe would tell the story about that. Dr. Tom would say that no matter how challenged we are and what's happening, that tomorrow morning, the sun is going to rise over India. And when I look east, I think of that often, of what he says, that the creator, that the presence, God, will continue to paint this masterpiece for us. So it kind of puts things in perspective as far as things we're walking through, the uncertainty of the times, me getting used to, the community, you all getting used to me. Let's just keep our hearts open and keep loving on each other. And the sun tomorrow, once again, will rise over Indio. And it's going to be another day.
Yeah. It's one of those things. I used to do this when I would teach people golf, and they would come to me and pay me to help them get better with the game, but there would be that resistance to change. And I realized the only change we like is if we're a baby with a dirty diaper. That's the only change we really like. And so it was one of those things you have to help nurturing us along, so that all of a sudden it's like that story of cooking. I'm not saying we're frogs, but cooking frogs. They say, how do you cook frogs? You start them out in cold water and you slowly warm them up. And this is kind of what we've had. Dr. Joe went on sabbatical. There's the cold water. So that was like, ooh, that was a little frigid. Yep. And you're warming us up. And as I say, I've been fortunate to be on the inside a little bit because of filming and whatnot. And I'll tell you what, gang, I think we're just so fortunate to have Reverend Charles here. So again, not to get too lovey on, but it is Life on Love today. So thank you again.
Life on Love. Not to get too lovey. Hey, everybody. Just to get to know Jeff a little bit better. He doesn't get too lovey, okay? He's not a touchy-feely guy. All right.
Yeah.
What do we have? What's that, Jeff? We have a mystery surprise guest?
Yes.
Who's here?
I don't know. Maybe you ought to invite her in.
Come on in. Who is it?
Hey.
Who's that? Let's see you.
I'm Susan Hall.
You're Susan Hall. Are you my mom?
I am.
Did you give birth to me?
I did. I changed those dirty diapers, the only diapers we like to have changed.
That's a labor of love, right? It actually makes me think right off the bat, though, when Mila was born, and I'll introduce you in a second, just how laborious but life-giving and awesome it is to do that whole thing and have you there. Knowing that you did that for me, and then you're there to kind of walk me through being a dad and not being used to, oh my God, what do we do? And I remember Julia having the big green book, that's the Dr. Sears book of, what to do when, and kind of studying that. And Anyway.
And
this is my-
remember, she would send us out each week the things to expect from Mila's birth, which was
Yep.
really, I just loved that. Yeah.
Yep. So this is Milagros' grandmother and my nieces and nephews' grandma. This is my mom. Hi, Mom. Her name's Susan. I think a number of you have met her when you were down. Let's see, right before we closed the doors, actually. We celebrated your birthday. You were here for one of our last services in the building, right?
Yes.
End
Yeah.
of February? Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
You made
Hi,
it in.
everyone. It's nice to be here.
So my mom is, I'll say this, I won't ask you. My mom's in her, what are you, 72? She's 72 and
I'm 71, just
oh,
one.
I've done that before. Trying to give you extra years. But this woman, yoga, spinning, you take care of yourself, Mom. Why do you take such good care of yourself? Why do that?
Oh my gosh, because I like the way I feel right now. I like my flexibility. I see people that don't take care of that. And gosh, I want to go out. I want to be this way as long as possible. So it's my charge. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
So you've said over and over again, for, I don't know, I mean, so there are three things that have informed your life most substantially. Talk to us a little bit about those three things, Mom.
Yeah, it came to me many years ago, actually, when you kids were young. Several things happened right in the same time frame. So the things that have molded my life are my family, for sure. And that continues, by the way, that continues to evolve me. God, which really showed up in 1981 when I found Centers for Spiritual Living, Science of Mind, actually, at Marcus Whitman Junior High in Seattle, if any of you were there, with Dr. Jim Munson.
Jim Munson, yep.
He was,
awesome.
when I heard him speak, it spoke right to my heart. And by the grace of God, I met someone via my work on the phone who said, come to church with me sometime, because we somehow got to talking about spirituality. How odd for me being a spiritual seeker, but there it was. And I did. And as a Catholic, it was odd at the time. I mean, it's sort of odd too, but I was having I wanted something brighter, more life-giving in my life. So there's Ernest Holmes, and then Werner Erhard through the work of Est and the Landmark Forum. Honestly, I and other people probably on this call too, Werner Erhard was an amazing philosopher in his right, and a mover of consciousness. So there was my family, my spirituality, and Werner Erhard.
Werner Erhard,
Yeah.
Yep. And that, so that all happened when what? So we moved from, I was born in Olympia. Again, by the way, gang, this is all, I hope you're enjoying this. This just helping you get to know me better. One of my commitments to you is that I want to be transparent with the stuff I want to be transparent about. I reserve the right to keep some privacy in my life. But again, I just want to invite folks on, it was Julia last week. Today is my mom, and just to allow you to get to know me and my heart and where I come from, my roots. So we moved I was born in Olympia at St. Peter's Hospital. So in 81, so we moved to Seattle. I was what, 6?
Yeah, you were born in 74. So yeah, you were 6. Well, you were going into first grade. You started first grade in Seattle.
Okay.
And, I have to back up there. You're talking about your beginnings, because one thing about Charles is he's been easy the whole time. It was an extremely easy delivery with him, like 3 hours. And he came home in a Christmas stocking because he was born on December 26th. So how?
27th, Mom. 27th.
December 27th, the day after his dad, which was honestly really awesome. And that's sort of how he's been his whole life. A little bit of a surprise, it coming home in a Christmas stocking, and really easy, honestly. Now he tells about things that I still don't know about. I mean, he still hasn't told me actually, but he says there's things he did. But you know, for me, he was easy.
Well, of course. I don't know. Everybody out there, are there things your parent? Here's a question: are there things your parents still don't know about that you've done? That would be fun. We got a question or a comment coming in here, Mom. Hold on. Let's see what's. Adair says Warner Earhart and Landmark Education are brilliant. Thank you, Susan Hall, for saying so.
Yep. Yes.
Yep. Okay, yeah, thank you, Adair. So we moved from Olympia to Seattle. When I was so that's when I started Holy Family.
Yep.
Holy Family. And so did you know that you wanted to, or was it grandpa and grandma's influence to go into put us into Catholic school, or how did that?
No, not at all. You know, that's an interesting question, Chase, because I knew that I wanted you kids to go to Holy Family. Excuse me one second. The only,
You okay?
yeah, I'm fine. I just needed to clear my throat. The only, I wanted you to have a good education, and I knew nothing about the Seattle public schools. Holy Family was down the street, a mile away, about, and I was just led to enroll you kids there. That's about as deep as it gets, because at the same time I was going through this, I will call it a personal, deep inquiry about my own spirituality, not really feeling fed by Catholicism, which I say nothing. I am not a recovering Catholic. I love my heritage. Yeah. I love all of the tradition and all of that, the sacraments and all of it. But it was time to move into something broader, because I didn't believe that. Here's a piece of it. I think I didn't think that there was any one God who would say, I am the way, and you have to come through this way to get to me. That didn't work for me in my psyche. To me, however people come to God is their way to God. And then I found Science of Mind, and my God, there it was. And that brings tears even now to my heart. And that's what I was able to introduce you kids to at a very young age, which, and then you had the benefit of going through 12 years of Catholic school and having that rich part with the broad spectrum of Science of Mind. Honestly, and then on top of that, I was able to introduce you kids at a very young age to the Landmark Forum or to the S training.
Yeah, I've done Landmark. I did the forum. We did the young person's forum, and then I did it. Yeah. I think I've done it 3 times. Right. Here's my mom rubbed off on us is seek something. Okay, just be about your power, knowing who you are. I mean, you are always exposing us to, but this is your thing too. I all of a sudden my brain just went in 14 different directions. But since really, I don't know when did it start before Justin and Sarah and I were born, or were you? I mean, because you've always been, even to this day, you're involved in something, Mom. You're you know, the workshop, the conference, the book, the. Yeah. When did that first start for you? When you just started like being so thirsty for this stuff?
You know, it was in that year. You know, for those of us that also dabble in astrology and that. It was in my 30th year. It was in 1979 that I did the Landmark Forum. And I think you astrologers can correct me here, but I believe I was really close to a Saturn return, which I can't get into that because I don't know that much about it, except it was really.
You got to be careful there.
I know, but other people know how powerful that is. So there was this place I was, you know, and that was the year of your dad and I divorcing, 1979. I did the Landmark Forum in 1979. I started studying that. that thirst came out of so many of me looking at my life going, there's more. There's more. I want to find them more. And even to this day, as I've thrown in another piece of wisdom in my studies with Wendy DeRosa in her intuitive healer program, you know, I have to tell you that even going more deeply now into another evolution of the spirit, you know, the spirit just more and more, it wants to evolve. And I have to say that's what this lifetime has been about for me. Hence, I know that I drew children into my life that also were on that path of revelation. Can I tell a story about you when you were in grade school?
That's what we're doing here.
Okay, good. So when the kids were
we should have vetted this beforehand. So anyway,
oh, no, you know this story. We've talked about it.
Go for
So when Charles was, I'm guessing it was in first or second grade, we hadn't lived in the house on 99th very long in Seattle. And so anyway, backing up just slightly, when the kids were 1 year old, Bob and I had pictures taken of them. They're 1 year old pictures. And Charles had platinum hair. It stood straight up. I mean, it was that whitish platinum hair. He was this bright little boy. And that picture really touched me really deeply. So one day that picture hadn't been hanging out and we had moved to Seattle, and the picture was probably 13 by, it was or 16 by 13. It was large. So I called him Charlie. I called this guy Charlie until he became a minister, and he said, we're moving to Charles, and I couldn't quite get there right away. So I had always called him Chase. So we got to Chase. So anyway, I said, Charlie, come in my bedroom. I want to show you this picture. I brought the picture out. Do you remember this? I don't know if you do, but
100%.
He burst into tears. There was something that connected with this little boy and that baby that was like him seeing or experiencing his spirit. That's a profound memory and always will be in my life. Wow.
I don't have words for that, Mom. I remember the moment, and I don't have words for it or what happened or anything. It was just that's all it could have been, is a connection with. Because how old? First or second grade is what? It's more Mila is, right?
6 or 7. You were between 6 and 7 years old. Yeah, Mila. And honestly, that's a good thing to bring up, because I see in her, and she just turned 7 the end of June. I see that revelation in her spirit, that awareness, that sensitivity to the spirit, that sense of right. And that's what you had. You had that sense of being. So it was a profound experience. I was stunned by it, and I knew exactly what was going on. You saw who you were, who you came in as, and it touched the who-ness of who you were then and who you are now.
Right on. Well, that's my prayer for our whole community, is that we can have that moment to just be aware of who we are. We've got a comment here, Mom. Let's see. Hold on just a second. And please keep them coming. Oh, kind of a long one. Let's see. Mysterious specimen. Oh, no, Jess. She signed her name Jess. She or he, I'm sorry, Jess. Let's see. Thank you for being authentic, speaking your truth from the heart, and shining your light. Also, thanks for an outstanding interview yesterday with Gail Morton. She's brilliant, radiant light in a dark night. A golden guardian angel gift from God. I was inspired by Dr. Joe's recent video on helping CSL financially, along with that interview. Yesterday, I called my life insurance policy company and changed my beneficiary to CSLPD. A good, thankful. That's awesome.
Wow.
A good, especially for a single person with no kids. Well, thank you, Jess. That's cool. We appreciate that. And we're not praying for you to die anytime soon. I'll tell you that right now. But thank you for your generosity. That's extraordinary. Thank you for that. Jess, we really appreciate that. So, Mom, so we I don't know if it was circumstances, or I know that, you raising 3 kids by yourself was not easy. I know that. And because of that, we learned resiliency. I remember me and so for those of you that don't know, I've got an older brother, Justin, who's a year and a half older than I am, and a younger sister, Sarah, who's just under 2 years younger than I am. What was it? 21 months, basically, or 23 months. So we're, pretty close in age. But I remember we used to take the bus downtown in the afternoons to come meet you when you worked downtown Seattle. The 3 of us, from being at a young age, we couldn't have been, I don't know, 12, 10, and 8, maybe something like that, or before that, probably 10, 8, and 6, maybe, I don't know. Taking the bus, the 3 of us downtown to meet you, the 21, to meet you. I don't know. I don't even remember what we did after that, but we took the bus downtown from time to time. And I think that taught us kind of street smarts, or, resiliency from a young age. As a mom, how was that? Because I know how protective I am as a dad. And I know that there were 3 of us doing that, but that's, in today's terms, we were very young doing that. So as a mom, did you feel safe, confident? Was it just out of necessity? Can you talk a little bit about those early years? And because you were a single mom working, and then, you were in classes in church and doing a number of things. So we in a number of ways kind of figured out a way to navigate life. We did plenty of family stuff and all that as well, but we are also, on our own, and taught resiliency. Can you speak to that? How was that experience for you?
Well,
that's a long-winded question.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that, but I'm going to just start with pieces.
Yeah.
Number one, it was a different era. It was the early 80s, early to mid 80s. And the bus stop was, I'd say about a block and a half, 2 blocks from our house on 35th there.
Yep. Yep.
And I worked for, huh?
A block. Yeah.
Yeah, a block from the house. And then where you got off was like right at my work. And the reason the kids came downtown, actually how all that got started was I worked for the Seattle Supersonics at the time, and they didn't even all come together. You individually would take the bus and meet me, and we would go to a game. Do you remember that? That's
what we do. We go to a game.
Yeah, we'd go to a Sonics game. And Charles, didn't you get the pair of Donaldson's size 13 shoes, or anyway?
No,
James Donaldson.
Justin got them from Fred Brown.
Okay.
Downtown Freddie Brown. Yeah.
So that's what you came downtown to do, and I had no hesitation about it. You got on the bus, 21. You got off the bus downtown. I think it was even the first stop downtown. And we worked all that out, but no, I didn't have any hesitation about that.
Yeah.
And so there's also, there's a huge difference between people parenting today and people, well, there's 2 parts of that. Number one, there's a difference in the parenting. There's a difference in the time, and there is an enormous shift for people my age, coming from the generation, the World War II people. We truly are the baby boomers. We're coming out of World War II, that were coming from that era of, a pretty static way of life, a pretty dim. This might be revealing more about my family, but I think in general, it was a dimmer.
Just say it.
A dimmer awareness. So the world has broadened so much in my generation, and in your generation, it's just escalated. Now,
well, it's technology, right, Mom? A lot of that.
Technology and right, all of that, for certain technology. So the parenting part, I really love that expression, helicopter parents. You guys really are on top of everything, and you're just sort of, you're just hovering. And You know, you're involved in everything, to the point where sometimes I think grandparents can be held at bay because the parents are so concerned about doing it a certain way.
This isn't a family therapy session, Mom, okay? This isn't family therapy, please.
You
All right,
said to give my observations. So anyway, that's awesome. No, it's not. There's certain, but it's always going on, isn't it? We're always therapizing ourselves. But yeah, no, it felt very safe to me. And I was really happy. I really also really like the confidence it built in you guys. You were very independent, and you all are very independent. I did a lot of studying. In fact, one of the stories, so I studied science of mind from 1981 until 1993, when I began practitioner studies, and which I ended in 95, and
Yep.
I'm a practitioner emeritus right now.
You are a practitioner emeritus, so
Yeah.
folks. Yep.
And but what I wanted to share about you and all of that was, well, a couple things. One thing that you may want to speak more about is your involvement when you went to O'Day to high school. Your heart was really called forth in the work you did. Was it at Swedish?
Yep.
And what was that program, Chase? Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was the bone marrow transplant floor. It's the 10th floor, 10 Southwest.
And you worked with the children, though.
It's kids. They were all kids. And there was one particular, so that was part of the community service program. We had to do community service. We got to do community service. And I chose Swedish to be up there. And it was amazing. And there was one particular boy that me and my friend Brian Solom really made, we became buddies with him and his family. His name is Jake. He was from Arizona, from the Scottsdale area. Phoenix area, some place in the greater Phoenix area. And actually, not to put a feather in my own cap or anything, but because of that work, I was actually awarded the Community Service Award at graduation for that year. But that was extraordinary to be there, and I don't even know what to say about it. You know, it's cancer, it's leukemia, it's
well, what I'd like to
sure. Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to bring up, Chase, was that you befriended this boy, became a part of your heart, and so did his family. Yeah. His family became a part of your heart, and Jacob died. He ended up, he passed, and he made his transition, and you were a part of that for that family. Yeah. So it was very moving for all of us. And for you were you a senior at the time? Yep. Yeah. For you as an 18-year-old boy, what an amazing experience to get to go through. Yeah. And that's how our lives, that's how being a parent of any, single or not single, but we had different opportunities because of that singleness as well. But I wanted to share about our experience in the gold mine this summer. That
I haven't shared that with anybody yet. Yeah, go for it. My mom and I worked in a gold mine together. By the way, if you have any questions for myself or for Mom, send them in. Any comments, anything. We've got well, this is flying by, Mom. We've already been. Anyway, yeah. Okay, go for it. Gold mine. Yep. Kettle Falls.
So I finished my practitioner studies in 1995 in the spring, and I had this calling to work more physically and live more rurally. Those were the words: work more physically, live more rurally. I told a friend of mine about that, Sue Kresovich. She said, call this friend of mine. He's doing something in Eastern Washington or Central Washington. You may be interested. So I call this guy and I say, hey, I hear you've got this gig going. I don't know anything about it. And he said, yeah, well, we're mining for gold. And we want 4 people from Seattle. We don't want them to be local people. We don't want any of the locals to know what's going on here. So they said, come on over. If it's a fit, you can do it. And if it's not, you'll know. But he said, you better come look. So I got in the car that weekend and went over. And I went, wow, do I ever want to do it? Yes. So I was in. I came back and told Charles about it. And he said, I might want to do that. I said, well, you better call them then, because they're only choosing 4. and the time's coming up. So he calls and he gets over there the next weekend, or right close by. And he says, I want to do it. So Charles and I head over to this home on Lake Roosevelt that Ray has, our beloved Ray, who has passed, opened his house. And every morning we had, what kind of car was the family car?
Oh, it was a little gray. The family is a little, I don't even think I think they stopped making them like 50 years ago, Mom. It was a little gray.
It was his old car.
19, get out and push.
Yeah. And Ray called it the family car, but we would go up on the hills above Lake Roosevelt to the gold mine. We had a cave. We blasted rock. We hauled rock. We split rock. I went to Canada for 2 weeks to manage the site of the, like it's the gold rush of the crushed rock flowing through the water to see what's heavier. Yep. But Charles and I had the chance to spend that summer together with
Carrie and Bryce.
Yeah, at the house on Lake Roosevelt. Honestly,
it was magical.
Completely magical for a mother and son to get to spend that time together. Almost unheard. I've never heard of another situation like that. So maybe somebody.
It was pretty wild. It was magical, and it was. We're gold miners, Mom. We've been mining.
We are.
Yeah.
And then Charles came back and started ministerials. Well, no, he came back and started prac class.
Yep.
And you finished prac and went right into ministerial studies. And then you started your Genesis
young adult
ministry. So you went from high school. So Charles, how was it for you combining, the Catholic, you went 12 years to Catholic school. You had this broad Ernest Holmes education on life.
Just a couple comments here, Mom. I'll answer that. Maybe you can answer this, because there's a question for you. Adair says, I'm Susan's age, and I took the bus on my own in Chicago, to Chicago, I'm guessing, or in Chicago. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. In Chicago at age 9 or 10. Okay, so Adair's been, okay.
That's
and then
cool, Adair. Awesome.
A question here, Mom, for you. Susan, when did you know in your heart that Charles was going to be a minister?
Not 1 minute before he said he was. Because Charles has, honestly, so we finished our stint in the gold mine. You came back, did prac studies, and you were on a path.
Well, I'd already done quite a bit of the education. Yeah, Reverend Janet and.
Oh, the camp. Being a camp counselor. You have been a person of. Well, I'll just jump right in here, and I was telling Jeff before the call started that, and you have heard this many times, but Charles is the minister that I always wanted to have. He's my son, but I just love the heart that you bring into the ministry. I love the transcendence that you receive and can actually, we come to church, I come to church for that transcended experience of the divine, wanting that to be in me. But if it cannot be in me, or isn't there yet for many people, then that comes to us via our sacred people. So I guess all of that's to say you have that connection of the living presence within you that is channeled, and that connects.
Well, no, it's the sensitivity that you talked about earlier. That's what I say to folks, that I've always felt sensitive and was made fun of it a fair amount growing up. But
yes.
it's kind of just been who I am.
You know what, that reminds me so much as you say that. It reminds me of Mila, and she is so sensitive and her heart is so present. And yeah, that is how you were. So God knows what it's doing. That's what I have to say today, is God knows what it's doing in families and in our experiences and in our parents, who we have as parents. By the grace of God, I had the parents I did, and I've been able to grow through the things I thought were problematic to see the blessing they were.
Let's go there for a second. Hold on, just a couple comments, Mom. Hold on. Let's see. Do you remember Gifford Ferry? That was south of us, right?
Oh yeah, Gifford Ferry. We drove by there on our way up to, you know, for anybody, can I leave a way for people to contact me if they'd like to? How do we do that?
Susan Hall, RSCP @gmail.com. Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
Yes.
Jeff put it in the comments. Ed, would you put that in the comments?
Yeah. So yeah, we were just
Can you say it one more time?
It's Susan Hall, SUSANHALLRSCP @gmail.com. Did you get that?
He got it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yep.
dear. Good.
Jeff's the man.
Yeah, so we went by Gifford's Ferry. We went by, what are some of the other little towns we went through getting up there too? Oh, we were right outside of Kettle Falls. So we were in Kettle Falls.
We were in Kettle Falls, weren't we?
Yeah.
For the bridge, yeah.
Yeah, right across the bridge.
Yep.
Beautiful area. Yeah.
Yep.
Did you say Charles grew up in the Catholic religion? He did. At what point did you expose him to Science of Mind? 1981. We started going to the church in Seattle.
It was both. I grew up with both at the same time.
And we were going to both for many, many years. And then, but Charles went to Catholic school and graduated from O'Day. Yeah.
So you mentioned you mentioned Grandpa and Grandma. So we have this thing, and I've spoken about it to the community, this thing that the cousins have called the Johnson Fury. We have a fire in our family that exists. And I think it occurs to me, Mom, that the more generations we get away from Grandpa and Grandma, that the fire kind of smolders a little bit. But you grew up with a fiery mom, didn't you?
Yeah. Very fiery.
Grandma, who's 90, will be 98 in October. And that's kind of where she was a fiery woman. Can you talk about talk about a little bit where you come from and how that kind of informs your kids and then, you know, your kids as well?
Well, as a child, it was difficult. Fortunately, that's sweet. I want Susan from my mom. That's so sweet. I have to say that, yeah, so as a child, it was difficult because I was sensitive too. I was one of you and Mila and many people, you know who you are out there, many of us. And if that sensitivity isn't, you know, then we think we might be a little insecure. So as we grow in the ways that present themselves in our lives to grow, we get to manage that and let go of the victimhood of it. But more than that, what I find is the insecurity of it, which has been over the course of the insecurity of that, I think, is what you see as the damping down of the furor. We're finding ways that we don't have to do the furor because we have ways of communicating. And we also have ways of experiencing God. I'll call it God. Although I don't care what anybody else calls it, as long as you are connected to it, it is it can flow. So
Thing. Get this woman a pulpit. Get her a pulpit. Go. It is the thing, but don't get too far off the thing though. I want to share about, keep going, anyway, I'm
okay.
sorry.
So, we were sharing about the family, right?
Yep.
The background.
Yep.
Yeah, the upbringing. So yeah, if people had harsh, all I can say is that it felt harsh to me because of my sensitivities as a little girl. And I had my dad that offset that, but I never understood why he didn't just tell mom to, to chill out, don't, come on, Grace, come on, Bets. But he didn't, which isn't good or bad. That's what I know now too. That's not good or bad either. How she was isn't good or bad either. But anyway, that's what I came into. And it took me, it's taken me every bit of my life to actually get to what I call the soft place of where I am right now. But I've loved the journey because I can see the journey. I can feel the journey. Each part of the journey has made such a difference. I think it's what I really encourage in all of us, because we did have a family of fear. And it's so interesting, the times, Charles, that we live in right now, where we are looking at me and white supremacy, and we're looking at our upbringings. And I was raised in a time, I don't know, I hope I can say this, but I was raised in a time where in our social studies books and our history books, it was taught the whole white Anglo-Saxon superiority thing. Can you believe that? It was taught at school, and I didn't go to Catholic school. This was public school. But anyway, so there's so many things that come into who we are right now, the things we have to look at that honestly, thank God we're looking at them, but it's all a part of that, the shaking up that we're experiencing right now, that brings us even right back to that family that lived, they came from those roots.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So those are the roots of dominance, the roots of dominance.
Yep. I on my call with Jafon on Tuesday, I called somebody an idiot, and somebody made a comment that they were a product of their times, and I appreciate that. I was referring to somebody from 400, 500, 600 years ago, and somebody said, he's not an idiot. He's actually a brilliant man. He was just a product of his times. Yeah. And I can appreciate that to some extent, to a large extent, actually. And I know that's kind of harsh language as well, but that's kind of case in point of where I come from as well. We've never really, in our family, we've never bitten our tongue. We've always generally expressed ourselves. I mean, we're a loud family. We're an expressive family. We express ourselves, and that's where we come from. I mean, that's kind of who we are. I mean, with the cousins and the aunts and the uncles, on Thanksgiving, Christmas, when growing, we're just loud, and that's what we do. And we are a family, and we've always been that.
Yeah. So
with what I just want to, so you had a lot of healing to do with your mom. Is that right? Over the years? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you and grandma now are at a peaceful place, right?
Oh my God. We have been at a peaceful place for a long, long time. Part of it was when Justin was born, the first baby for me, a big chunk of that was my awareness. Oh my God. I see what they were holding in their hands and the responsibility that feels like. And it is a responsibility. So that was huge. And then in all the studies that I've done and all the work that I've done to really be able to see that was a point in time. And do I want to live in that time, or do I really want to bring that time? I look at it this today as having all the past come to the middle of my heart, and all the future come to the middle of my heart, and to be able to sit in the now. So to sit in the living presence of God in my center, not because I love my mother.
Yeah.
And, I love her. I always have loved her. And can I let go of history to be in the present with people I love? I could do that. I can do that.
I mean, as simple of a statement that's a profound practice that I think all of us want. Can we let go of history in order to be in the now to create the relationship that we really want to create?
And let go of futurizing. Yeah. Bring it right to the center of my heart and allow the download of the divine to wash through me.
Amen.
Yeah. Amen.
So earlier you said you took the Landmark Forum in 1979, and that's the same year that you and Dad divorced. So I can thank Landmark Forum for you and Dad divorcing, basically.
No, we divorced. No.
That's a joke.
No, actually, that came afterwards. I don't think I even knew about Landmark when your dad and I divorced. And we love, oh my God, we didn't even get there. We love Bob. Oh my God, we love Bob. We were all with him when he died.
You know what's interesting, Mom, is that Dad died 7 years from where I am right now. He passed when he was 52, right?
Yeah. 2002. Yeah.
45, October 31st, 2002. Yep.
Yep.
I often think about I thought about it with when Justin was born, my nephew, who's 20, what is he, 24 now?
Yes.
Crazy. So I've got a 24-year-old nephew, my sister's son, and then a 13-year-old, is JC 13 now? A 13-year-old niece, who's Sarah's daughter. Yeah. And then my daughter's 7. Those are the cousins. Justin got to meet Dad. But JC and Mila obviously didn't, but just, he would be wrapped right around their fingers. I mean, it would just, wasn't Dad had a huge heart, didn't he? Sometimes it's really difficult to walk through the world with a big fat open heart.
Yeah, that's exactly what your dad said. He said, the whole emotional part of this thing is just almost too much for me. So. Yeah, so anyway, we were all together the week before before Bob passed, and Charles had just taken a position in Los Angeles.
At Agape.
At Agape at the time, ministering youth and family. There's a question, Chase, I want to answer before.
Ed, what is it?
It's what is a practitioner emeritus?
Cool.
A practitioner emeritus is a practitioner who's been a practicing practitioner in Science of Mind or CSL for at least 20 years. So active and contributing.
Active, loyal, and supporting.
Active, loyal, and supporting. And honestly, that has been such in the work that I've done, it's the work I truly love, is to work with people regarding being set free.
Yeah.
Because it's what we're all about.
You have been a committed practitioner for a long time, and it's not just a title you've worn, Mom. It's something that you've done. You do it. You do practice.
I do it. I am it. I am it. It is me. It is me, and that is that grace. By the grace of God, we allow that grace to just pour through us. Yep.
We're getting to the top of the hour. And it's gone quickly. Just share a couple paragraphs with us about, hold on. We have a question real quick, and then we're going to start wrapping it up here. Let me see. Susan, what is the most valuable lesson through Science of Mind you have taught Charles?
Well, I hope that for all of my children, the most valuable lesson that I've taught them is to follow their own true heart. So to walk in the light and love of their own true hearts. Hmm. What would you say? What is it, Charles? I mean, did anything come up for you?
Totally that. I remember coming back from a story I hadn't thought about in a little bit. Coming back from Camp Waskowitz. We all did that in fifth or sixth grade.
Yeah.
And we were driving down to Olympia, probably to Grandpa and Grandma's. By the way, we've done the Seattle to Olympia and back. I don't even know how many times. I mean, hundreds, not 100, hundreds. That 60-mile trek. I mean, but I came back and I made so many great friends. A week-long camp away. It was through Holy Family. I think it was through the CYO, Catholic. I think it was a bunch of schools that went there, Catholic Youth Organization. And I came back, and sensitive guy I was just really missing my friends and feeling so just in love with what the experience I had. And we were driving south, and I think Justin was picking on me or something like that. And I was in the back of the car, and I just started crying because I was still in this really sensitive, open-hearted space. And you pulled over on the side of Interstate 5, and I got into your lap. You just said, "Come here," and you just held me. And I cried for a while. I think that's kind of a case in point of Jeff just changed your name to practitioner emeritus. I love it. Case in point of what you taught is follow your heart and be open-hearted and just do your best to be yourself. I think that's what so I'd agree with what you said.
And then the saying in our household was MYOB, right, Gerald? Mind your own business.
Yep. Which is my tagline now, live and let live. Live and let live. And
in the morning, we would remember that we get up alive, refreshed, rested, and ready for our day.
Or alive, alert, awake, and enthusiastic. Yeah. Mom. All right.
You know, Charles, I know it's 55 and you probably have final words. Can I just say one closing, a little prayer?
I don't have a whole lot to say anymore. Just a couple of announcements. Go for it.
I just pray that I pray that each one of us is open to the infusion of God's love, that we just allow it to flow in from our crowns and completely create that pillar of light that we are in touch with, and that we allow ourselves to walk in the light and the love of God every step of the way. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Mama.
Yeah. Thank you. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, I'm grateful. Thank you. So Julia and Mila hit the road today to move down here. How's your heart with that right now?
Oh my gosh, I have to tell you, I said to Julia this morning, well, we had such an amazing day yesterday with the movers getting there very late. She got out of there last night after midnight. My heart's very tender. And I said to Julia this morning on the phone, I said something about the importance of staying in touch. And she said, part of trust is that you just have to know you're never going to get rid of me.
You said that?
Yeah.
Family.
It was so awesome.
Yeah. A lot of change for our family for sure right now.
Chase, can I tell them one more story about you when you were in kindergarten?
It's got to be a minute or less, though. Go for it.
When Charles was in kindergarten and Sarah was in preschool, before they would leave in the morning, I would put them in the rocking chair. The car story reminded me of this. And I would sit in the rocking chair with one of them close to me and the other one sitting behind them, and we would rock. So let's just keep rocking each other, okay?
Would that be a weird thing to do at the church? Reverend Charles, rocking chair time with the Rev? I promise we won't do that, gang. Okay, I promise we won't do that.
But that's how the family rolls.
But it has to be multiple congregants, okay? 10 minutes time.
You'll have to get an Alice in Wonderland rocking chair.
Oh, we're going off the rails. All right. I love you, Mama.
I love you.
All right. Hey, a couple of announcements real quick. Tomorrow we've got 10 a.m. meditation. Jeff, Swing Point Media, our master, will be rolling that out. You'll be getting that in your inbox soon. And then, of course, Sunday we've got another, what we all feel is a wonderful service. I pray that you do as well. And then next week, we're rolling things out. I'm on Monday and Thursday. Where's my schedule? Right here. Let's see. On Monday, I am talking with Dale Olansky, the lead of our practitioner corps. And by the way, at Genesis, my mom was the lead of our practitioner corps for a long time. Oh, excuse me, Reverend Dale. That's only official starting August 1st, okay? We're still on the 31st. Reverend Dale Olansky on the 3rd. On the 6th, is Reverend Cheryl Guess. Tuesday, I continue with Jafon. Wednesday, Sensational Six. And then Friday, another special part of my family will be with me next Friday. I call him my adopted dad. He's been in my life for a long time. And anyway, you'll get to meet a very, very, very special man in my life who's been a part of my family for a long time. So that's what's going on. We continue to welcome your financial gifts to our center and in support of what we're doing. I know you've heard it dozens of times now. The building is closed, but our ministry is stronger than ever. We're doing so many wonderful things. And please be aware that on Sunday from 11 to 11:30, our virtual prayer room is open. So go through the website, click on the banner, and one of our practitioners, you'll meet in a Zoom room. There'll be a host to greet you, and then you go into a private Zoom room with one of our practitioners confidentially to get prayer. So between 11 and 11:30, whatever's on your heart, whatever's on your mind, if you want to welcome a greater good, or if there's something lacking that you want to create an opening for, get with one of our prayer practitioners for that. Again, through the website, cslpalmdesert.org. And also, please continue to invite people to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Center for Spiritual Living, Palm Desert, all spelled out. That's what's going on. We love you. We appreciate you. Mom, are you still there?
Yes.
I love you.
I love you, Chase. I love to everyone.
Thanks for jumping on this morning. I'm very grateful, and I hope this has been a fun hour ride for everybody here. All right. All is well. Make it the best day ever.